folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Those who are attending live, appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about how to actually create your lead magnet. So if you didn't see yesterday's episode or training, I talked about how to create searchable content so a new audience can find you. YouTube is the second largest search engine. Google is the first. So when it comes to creating content, specifically if you are just getting started, you want to make sure that you find or that you create searchable content in addition to any content you want to create that your audience will find helpful. But when people are searching to have their problem solved, they Google it or they YouTube it. They do a verb that involves Google in some some shape or form. So today I'm actually going to talk about some things you can use as your lead magnet. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. Hopefully it'll get your mind moving of some things that you can do that may not necessarily be standard, but it won't feel like your client is just signing up for email. Nobody is signing up to get email. Nobody cares about email, but ideally this is going to be your direct communication to your customer. So just a reminder, tomorrow is the last day to sign up for the email income harvest workshop that I will be doing live. So if you are at this stage of your business when you really want to incorporate email, come join me and a bunch of other entrepreneurs, discuss that, and I'll work that through you personally. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about how to automate all of this. If you're a solo entrepreneur or if you're working on different endeavors, you have to be able to continue to have your sales and marketing go while you're servicing clients or while you're providing the service or while you're just working on your business, right? So you want to automate this process. And tomorrow you'll see that one, we're going to get a little technical. All right, just a little tiny bit so that you can see what you need to segment, what you need to target, what needs to happen, welcome sequences, abandoned cart sequences, all of those things. We're going to talk about the importance of those tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow I will be here a little bit earlier because it's Friday and I might do a happy hour. So I can't be here with y'all late, but I'll still be sure to get the content out to you. So again, if you want to work with me and some entrepreneurs, the link is in the description. You can join us on Sunday. Sunday is the last time I'm teaching the class, and it's going to be the last time I'm teaching anything live, at least until the fall, okay? Because I'm just going to take a little vacay, all right? Anyway, let's get into it. So again, yesterday, just to recap, we were talking about how to create the searchable content. So if you haven't looked at that, please go check that out. Now that you have the searchable content and you have an idea what people are searching for based on your industry, now you actually have to create what we call the lead magnet, okay? And so what is the lead magnet? Now, I want you to think outside the box, but let's think about the first thing. The first thing, you can create an email course or email education. And let me talk to you as to what that looks like, right? So when I had our cosmetic dentist, a lot of times when someone is interested in, let's say, buying something new or doing some type of new procedure, signing up for a new school, they have so many questions. And you can use an email course that they sign up for. It's free, and it continuously sends them content that will be helpful for their decision. So let me kind of give you an example of what this looks like in practice. So for my plastic surgeon clients, they may have wanted to be number one for a particular service. So we got them ranked number one for that service, but then we did not send them to their website. Again, I tell you, your email is the most important thing, right? If someone comes to your website and they don't do anything, you have no way of reaching back to them unless you're doing remarketing, but that's for another day. So we send them to a landing page, okay? The landing page only talks about the service. So for example, if you're in a situation where you may offer a bunch of different services, you need to create a landing page per service so that so they won't get confused. They won't go anywhere else but get what they need on this one page, right? So we did that. Now that they give us the email, the whole thing is, what is it that we can provide that's going to be of benefit to someone who's looking for a particular service or whatever? And it could be a series of questions. If you want to know the top 10 questions you should ask your doctor, your cosmetic dentist, your renovation person, your accountant, what are the top 10 questions you need to ask them in order to understand that you're hiring the best professional for this service, okay? So think about in your industry, what is it that you can provide that will lessen the time for your client, okay? And if you can give them that, you can give them that education over a series of 3 to 5 days or what have you. you can even create an email course that you charge people for if that's what you want to do. But the great thing about an email course, you load that up in your autoresponder and you don't have to touch it anymore. So that part of your business can be going and educating and nurturing your clients while you are over doing your business. Okay. So you can use an email. Hey, Randy. You can use the email course as a lead magnet. Okay. Or you can use it as another revenue in your business, okay? But that's one of the ways that you can get email addresses for someone so they'll be excited about it. So for those of you who are in the service field, and it may require a lot of education prior to someone committing to you, I really encourage you to consider doing a free email course as your lead magnet. So let me think. I don't know if I can think of something that may require a series of education. I can't think at the moment. Maybe it can be for universities who are trying to get more students to accept their school or want to come to their school versus another. They can sign up for, various, don't call it a case study because no student wants to hear case studies, but experiences from various students that match what that student's interest is. So like say the student is interested in music, then you can have various videos, articles, writing come to the person over the series of a week or a couple weeks in the field of music, talking to your various students who are in the music department and sharing that so that someone can say, oh, this feels like me. Hope that makes sense. All right, so that's your email course or email education. They're very, very effective because when you teach people based on your expertise, you enlighten them and they don't want to work with nobody else. They only want you to do it. So definitely consider how you can further educate your client with an email course. Virtual summits. Virtual summits are amazing. They are absolutely wonderful. And for those of you who have been rocking with me since the beginning of Driven Spice, early on I did a moving abroad summit. Now, what I want you to think about with the virtual summits, they're a wonderful way to increase your list of database of people very quickly. Okay, because usually there's an event, people will register. Most virtual summits will be free to register, and maybe you can have some other parts of it, whether it be recording or whether they get VIP access or whatever these other things in to increase income for it. But ultimately, the virtual summits will get email addresses of people who are interested in a particular field. And that is critical. Now, you just have to make sure you're delivering a good product. And in a second, I'll show you the software that I used. And I'll tell you the pros and cons of it. But I'll tell you the software that I use to be able to do that. So I did the virtual summit. I gathered a bunch of people who were in the industry, they had moved abroad and they were sharing their experiences. So in your industry, I want you to think about, sometimes you don't even have to be the person, okay? So if there's a situation where a bunch of different people in a particular field that could help an audience, you can be the one who brings the summit together. You don't necessarily have to be the one in charge of delivering the information. You can pull it all together and it could still be in your industry and you still get the benefit of a larger customer database. Can I think of an example real quick as to how that would work? Okay, so for one of my clients now, they're an attorney. And we're working on a project where we're going to bring other attorneys in different fields together to do an ultimate project. And so the consumer would be interested because now they get brilliant legal minds in these various different industries that can help them grow their business, okay? So think about, is there a way that you can create a virtual summit or a virtual event? I prefer virtual versus physical for something like this because you get their email addresses relatively quickly and it's not a huge capital outlay. If you're doing a physical location, you got to pay for a location and all that other stuff. So really consider a virtual event or a virtual summit, and this can be a wonderful lead magnet to introduce you to a new audience. And I'll show you some software in a bit. All right, what we have? Okay, a video guide. Now, if you are doing this and you're doing this bootstrap, and you don't want to pay a software to deliver the video guide, that's okay. You can use something like YouTube. You can do a call to action, like here you have content. I'm sitting here talking to you, teaching something, right? So you do that within your industry. And in the description, you can put a link to say if you want to sign up for my video course on X. Now, of course, because we did search on yesterday, you should know what people are semi-interested in. And you can create a video course that will give value and teach the audience in which you wish to serve, right? So the video guide, ideally, you can put it on you can do Vimeo or there's a bunch of different websites that will host video for you. But if you're bootstrapping and you do not want to pay any money right now, you need your email marketing software and you need to unlist the video on YouTube, okay? Now, I do not advise that you take that technique if you are doing anything paid, but this is just to get the lead in. You want to give some value to your customer in the form of video guides. I prefer those better than emails because I hate writing. Anyway, so that is what that is. And I'll stay here today. I'll stay here today. As long as you have any questions, you can go ahead and type those in the chat box. And remember, tomorrow is the last day to sign up for this month's workshop. And after that, I'm not teaching until the fall, okay? So just giving you that heads up. Okay, video guide. Now, what we have next is, what do we have next? Okay, challenges. Challenges are a great way to, again, get an influx of people and support and community around a particular topic or subject. So you may have a 5-day write your blog guide. You may have a 3-day create your website challenge, or you may have a sales challenge or workout, yoga, whatever your challenge is. You can get people excited and motivated to do something, and it's a relatively short period of time. So people are very they're dying to get their time back in their life. So this is something that's not such a major commitment. They can be supported with community if you want to add that aspect to it. So if you want to create a challenge, you can easily kind of create a Facebook group to go along with the challenge. For those of you, I know we have many life coaches that watch. So then the question is, what kind of challenge can you provide for your clients in a particular part of life coaching that will help inspire them, get them excited, and then they can give their email so that you're giving them this challenge over the course of 5 to 7 days. So think about that in your industry as to how you can be helpful, how you can get people excited, and this can give you an influx of emails to your base. Okay, so that's that. And then of course the checklists are wonderful, quick and dirty ways of just getting an email address and giving some content to your potential audience very quickly. So again, going back to what I did, I used the checklist for those who were specifically interested in Portugal. I used a checklist that I used to start my residency when I started in Washington, D.C. So that was helpful for some people. That was the checklist that they downloaded, and they also gave me their permission to continue to talk to them as it relates to Portugal information. Now, again, which I'll show you tomorrow in regards to software. Okay, tomorrow we're going to talk more about software. It's going to be a little bit of tech, but just don't get freaked out. Okay, but that when people signed up for the Portuguese checklist, they were tagged as Portugal interest. So anytime there was some content that was about Portugal, they got that content. Anything was relating to online stuff, they didn't really say they wanted that type of content, so I didn't give them that type of content. There was a completely different lead magnet for people who are interested in creating an online income so they can have a location-independent life. That's ultimately the purpose. And they came in through a toolkit that I created for software that digital nomads may want to use. Okay, so you see how they had two different audiences. Ultimately, it's still under the same brand, but it was a checklist because the checklist isn't going to take you too long to create. If you are educated in that field, you could probably throw out some stuff that'll be super, super helpful to your audience. And the cheat sheets are the same. So now we're just going to look at a couple examples. We can do this really quick. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. After I show you the websites, then I'll go ahead and answer your questions. And I'll stick around as long as you need me. Okay, so we are at Google. So I just put in renovation checklist, right? So if someone is renovating their house or they're renovating a certain part of their house, it would be helpful to have a checklist, right? They might want to know, like, what is it that what should I consider? And if you look at this, these are the titles. Remember how we talked about keywords? You see in the title of what they are giving, the word checklist is in there, the word renovating or the word renovation is in there, those keywords are going to be super, super important in regards to showing up on YouTube, okay? Not YouTube, Google, any search engine. Okay, so you see, this is the steps. These are checklists. So think about a checklist that you can create within your own industry that will be super helpful to your audience. So remember, beat in your head often, you have to know who your audience is, because it's going to be really difficult to create a valuable piece of content if you're saying your audience is everybody, okay? All right. Now let's look. If you want to know like some ideas of what your checklist can do, you can use Canva. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Canva, but Canva has some kind of templates which you can use to have, checklists and various types of checklists, wedding checklists, whatever you see, you can kind of make your own. Of course, you can start from scratch. So if you want a checklist and you want it to look nice, head on over to Canva. It's a free software. You could upgrade, but with this, you don't need to upgrade. You can just create something attractive, download it as a PDF, and just upload it to your potential software or website, whichever one that you have. Okay. Cheat sheets. Cheat sheets are also another great way to get people's emails. If there's a certain thing that you can give people that really quick they can execute with a cheat sheet, think about how you can do that in your industry. And this is just a couple other templates you can look at your own leisure. Of course, you don't have to use Canva, but I just wanted to show you that. And then I want to talk to you about the software I used for the Moving Abroad Summit. If you decide to do a virtual summit, and if you guys want me to create some content on how to like live stream and do virtual summits and stuff, I know sometimes you guys ask me questions, but I do know some of the stuff is not that user friendly, so I definitely don't want to stress people out and have them learning about something. I want to keep you stay in the lane that's easiest, and then you grow, right? So that's why I don't talk about this, but it's a great way to make some additional income for your business, in addition to get an influx of email addresses. I think majority of my database came from the Moving Abroad Summit because I had thousands of people register for that summit. So just off the break, that gave me a large population of people in my database because of the summit I did. So basically you do the summit, you get various professionals, various people, various experts in a particular industry, and they share their information and you provide value to your audience, okay? So Hopin is a software that I used for the Moving Abroad Summit. There are tons of softwares that exist. You can use whichever one you want. All of them have their own pluses and minuses. So you want to be super clear as to what your goal is so that you can make sure that you're using the software that meets your needs. Of all of the virtual summit software I've used, even though I have problems with Hopin, it is probably the best software that's out there. And for those of you who attended the Driven Vision 2022 event, we did it on a Zoom event, and the event was cool, but Zoom events has a lot of problems. And if you want me to do something that specifically talks about that, I will. If not, I'll keep my comments to myself about how I feel about the software. But Hopin, like I said, is a good software if you want to do something like virtual events. You can make a free event. You can charge for the event. You could do whatever it is that your heart is content. But I want you to think outside the box when it comes to creating a lead magnet to be able to open that communication for your customer. If you are on your website and it says sign up for our newsletter, no one cares about your newsletter. They could care less about your newsletter. If you passively ask people for their email or the permission to communicate with them, you're passively not going to get any results. So consider how you can be helpful to your potential audience, what they may need, and then you give them that in exchange for their email. Now, if you're very helpful and you gave great information and you're not inundating them with emails or being annoying or engaging in narcissistic marketing, then you'll be fine. But if you are doing that, did I say that backwards or wrong? You know what I mean. Don't be a narcissistic marketer. That's what I'm saying. Really consider your customers and what they may need and how you can help that. That is how you create a better relationship so that when people see your emails, they actually open them. All right. So we're done with what I had to say. We're going to move on to Q&A, and so I'll answer your questions, and I'll stick around as long as you need me. So again, My last class is on Sunday, and that's the email income harvest. I welcome you to come. I know that says the 23rd, that class, we canceled it. And so now we're on the 27th, which is Sunday, okay? So if you're interested, you can click the link in the description. It'll sign you up for the class. All right, let's get into these questions. Do we have any questions? Nomadic Jamaican, hey there. In the doctor's office trying to catch up. I know that's right. LaShonda. Hey there, LaShonda. All right. Okay, everybody saying hello. Any questions? Love what I'm able to see from. Oh, okay. Caught the last 2 lives viewing. So glad to come across the content. Let me see. We got a question. Okay, so caught the last 2 lives. Glad to come across the content. Real. Oh, I'm so happy it's helpful. And if you let me know what your stuff is, I can try to help and see if I can share something with you specifically. Oh, Kurt, you're so nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. All right, folks, if you got some questions, I'm only here into the question. Ooh, that's teeny. Okay, sorry, y'all, but I'm gonna try to read it. My background is in the science testing field, particularly drug interactions and tools for cannabis testing and overall information. What would you recommend to start my consulting process? LaShonda, the first thing I would say is, who is your customer? And I know we have a slight delay when we're streaming, so I'll wait for that answer. But anytime you want to start with anything, you really have to understand who your customer is, because from that, you reverse engineer what your customer may need. So let's say, for example, of the plastic surgeon. So I had a client, they were doing mommy makeovers, right? So a mommy makeover is different than a tummy tuck or a nose job or whatever. And mothers typically are going to be the ones who sign up for it, right? So you have to consider your marketing message as to what the client would need. So someone's saying, well, probably they want to know how much it is. They want to know how long they'll be down, all of those questions that come with it. That is what you can educate and give information for in that industry. So let's say you are I don't know, I can't think of another industry. You teach guitar lessons. Why did I do that? Because I don't know nothing about, but let's say, can I think of examples of guitar lessons? Okay, so even if you teach guitar lessons, if you start off, you want to think, well, who do you want to teach it to first? And then you have to find that audience. So let's say you want to work with children who are age 8 through 13. 9 times out of 10, the person who's going to be paying for the lessons are going to be the parents. So even though that's your audience of what is that? What did I say, 10 to 13? You got to find the parents of 10 to 13-year-olds and basically sell your message to them. So ultimately, every time you do this, you got to really understand who your customer is, because then you can find out where your customer is located. When you make it general, it's impossible. And just remind yourself of every large company that existed. It was super specific. When Facebook started, it started on one campus. It did not try to be the thing for everybody, okay? When Google first started, it started off on one campus, okay? So when you are just starting out, you got to go super, super, super niche. And then that will help you get to your customers, and then you can grow and scale. But just the main mistake I see people make is they go entirely too general. Okay, all right. Good vibes, interesting. Can you elaborate on using hashtags and the @mention? Using it in what, honey? I don't know. Can you give me a little bit more of your question? Can you elaborate on using hashtags and the @mention? On what? Help me out with that. Answer that, and then I'll try to help out. You have an example of an email course. Yeah, so an email course can be whatever it is that you want that would give your client a benefit. So let's say you're saying you're a personal trainer and you are interested in increasing your clientele of busy executive women, right? So if busy executive women want to get into shape, let's say it's busy executive women who are over 55. you need to think about, okay, so what are some of the issues or concerns or stresses that demographic may have? Like create your avatar. What are some of their issues? They may have older kids. They may be stressed. Like think about, just write down all the things that they may have issues with, okay? Because that ultimately is going to be in your marketing message when you want people to get on your email list. Okay, so if you're saying you're a personal trainer, you might say this email course is a 3-day course to help you lose your first 10 pounds in a week. I'm pulling this out of thin air. So the first email, day one email, may talk about, okay, food is really 90% of the issue. So in this particular day one, what you're doing is you're cleaning out your kitchen. You're cleaning out your refrigerator. You're cleaning out your pantry. You're getting all that trash out. That's what you do day one, course day one. Maybe day two is, all right, now you find different activities, or here are some exercises that you can do in your home, or, you know. So each day can be a tip, and you give them a call to action, not a call to action, but you give them action items that they need to do in that email. Okay, so it's going to vary depending on what your industry is. If you want to be specific as to what you do, I can try and help you brainstorm that, or come to the workshop on Sunday. All right, consumers, dispensaries, and employees to understand policies of the employer as the country opens up to legalization. Wait, I gotta look at the other question to remember. My background is in blah, blah, blah. What would you recommend to start my consulting process? And you're saying this is the audience. Okay, you just named a whole bunch of different people. All of them, LaShonda, cannot be your audience, not initially. So consumers are different than dispensaries. Dispensaries are different than employees. So you have to determine, of those, even if it's more, which one of them is going to write you a check faster. Okay, which one can you solve a problem with that it will equate to you being there and helping them make money or save money? People tend to have no problem putting money to something that is solving a problem or helping them save money. Okay, so how are you going to help a consumer do that? Because these are all different people. They can't all be your audience, okay? It's too hard to come up with a marketing message that is going to say you can do what you do for all of these people. I really suggest that you pick one. 9 times out of 10, the employees aren't going to pay you. The dispensary might. So what is this? What are you doing specifically for the dispensary that would be helpful? So answer that, and if we're, and then I can try to help you work that out. Okay, can you elaborate on that? Okay, when posting videos and commentary on social media. Okay, here we go. Okay, when posting videos and commentary on social media, how does that drive traffic to your industry, for example, travel? So I'm going to be, okay, got you. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, so you have to understand that each online platform has its own ecosystem. Okay, so the way that you post and the way that you create content is going to be different based on the platform. So when you're using things like hashtags and that does not matter as much on YouTube as that does in Instagram. Okay, so if you're trying to create content for Instagram specifically, here is what you need to consider about Instagram. Cat's out the bag. Instagram is owned by Facebook or Meta. I still feel weird calling this company Meta, but that's what they're called now. So these are intranets, okay? So your customer has to log in order to get the content. When someone is searching for information, an Instagram post does not come up. A podcast does not come up. Search-based content comes up, okay? So what Facebook does and has done in the past, they will limit your reach based on if the algorithm or if they want to. Why does that matter? If you are trying to create a new audience and you are doing it on something like Instagram or Facebook, it's going to be a challenge. So here's the thing, guys. When a platform comes out that's social, the algorithm isn't a free for all. Everybody just get some views. It doesn't matter, because really they just want to keep people on the content. But ultimately, understand their goal is to make money. So Facebook specifically will limit your reach so that you can pay them ads so they can show you to more people. And Facebook was known for this, years ago, when people would build a business page And then no one could see the content unless that business page paid for ads to see the people who had already said that they, wanted information from them. Facebook owns Instagram. It does the same thing. So back in the day, maybe hashtags mattered a little bit more because the algorithm was very loose, but it's not necessarily the big thing now, to be honest with you. Now, granted, I know there's a lot of people charging for Instagram courses and doing all this other stuff, but ultimately Facebook will limit you, and they're going to continue to limit you because they're a publicly traded company. They got to make money. The way they make money is through ads and data mining. So I hope this answers your question a little bit, because the hashtags, unless someone's specifically going through hashtags, they may find you. But is it going to be a hot lead? In comparison to if you create content that your audience is searching for and you put it on a search-based platform like Google or YouTube or Pinterest or Quora, okay? That means if someone is searching for how to lose 10 pounds, they're not going to Instagram. They're not going to Facebook. They're not going to LinkedIn. They're going online. They're either going to Google or they're going to YouTube. They're going to two largest search engines. So if you hear anything I'm saying, consider creating content that is based on your audience and what they search for. If you are new to this, that is going to be the quickest way to get an audience. I'm not going to say gone are the days when you can do it on Instagram or Facebook, but understand, even when you're taking those courses from people who are saying, I'll show you how to get 100,000 views or whatever, they've been doing it for a while. Their stuff has been out there for a while. So if you want a new audience and you want it faster, you need to create some search-based content. And if you don't know how to do that, I taught that yesterday. I encourage you to check out that video when you have the opportunity. Hope that was helpful. I'm going to say something. I'm trying different things connected to my experience traveling VA business. I also do. Okay, folks, you got to just ask me the question, because your questions are going to get cut off if they're too long, and then I can't read what your question is. Does it sound like I'm doing too much? Okay, nomadic, Jamaican. Okay, so some of your question got cut off, love. Trying different things connected to my experience training VA, blah, blah, blah. I also do cooking, blah, 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 blah. Separate. Okay. My tutoring channel is separate from my cooking travel YouTube channel. How many YouTube channels do you have? Does it sound like I'm doing too much? Sounds like it. It does sound like you're doing too much. Do you have more than 1,000 subscribers to any of those YouTube channels? Type that for me. After your discussion, I believe my target audience is a dispensary by providing scientific. Okay, good. I like that. I like how y'all bringing it in. I love it. Okay, so that makes sense. And the dispensary probably has the budget to pay you. After discussion, I believe my target audience is the dispensary by providing scientific content for their created products. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is important because ultimately you are going to have to sell yourself to dispensaries to make them care. Okay, so my question to you is, why do they care? Why do they care about scientific content in regards to their products? Is it going to increase their sales? Are they just going to know for the hell of it? Like, why does that matter? Because in your marketing message, you have to convince the dispensary that they have to depart with their money and give it to you. So what is the value of knowing about scientific content of the products they create? So talk to me on that. Okay, good. Your answer to is very interesting. I have a website which you can see on Google search, and I use YouTube. I just need to better attract and keeping clients. 2 channels. Okay, so neither one of them have 1,000 subscribers, honey. I'm gonna need you to sit down and really dedicate to one, because all you're doing is you're not able to produce. Here's the thing about the algorithm, guys. They like consistency, and they like engagement. Okay, so if you are inconsistent, understand that YouTube's sole purpose is to sell ads. And if they want to put ads on your content, they got to know that you produce it. Like, that you actually come out here and you produce it pretty consistently. So there's a lot of back end stuff that helps you show up with the algorithm. One of them is definitely consistency, and then the other one is engagement. It's a bunch more than that, but of the two that it makes sense to not get too technical, you need to focus on. So if you're going back and forth to two channels and neither one of them have 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna need you to just sit with one real quick and build that. And then you'll see how much it takes to build that. That you'll probably be like, I ain't doing another channel. It's too much. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, it's small guy. I would share your channel with my wife. She's an HR and specifically recruiting in a global company. I'm helping her plan becoming independent and being. Oh, good. Yeah. Absolutely. Trying to attract my YouTube. All right, folks. If you don't have any more questions, I'm gonna end it out, and I'm gonna get out of here. Okay, so trying to attract to my YouTube. My tutoring on is just starting. I don't think I understand your question, love. I'm sorry. It will increase their sales due to their clientele understanding the benefits of contents of their products. I need you to sell that a little bit more, because here's the thing, and I don't know much about the purchasing as such, but I don't know how many clients are asking. So if that's an issue in that industry that clients ask that often, is it? You don't have to keep quiet, Nomadic Jamaican. I just didn't understand the question, love. You can ask me whatever you want. LaShonda, here's the thing, and I don't know how this works, so you just gotta educate me. So when someone goes in the store, don't they typically just want it and don't want a dissertation as to what it does? Don't they just get it? Talk to me. Like, I need you to sell that a little bit more. Guys, don't forget, tomorrow we're going to talk about the software, how to automate all the stuff we've talked about this week. Okay, it is going to be a little technical. Just work with me. All right, that's what we're going to do tomorrow. And again, tomorrow is the last day to sign up for the workshop, where we will be discussing how to put this into your business so that it can work well. All right, folks, if we don't have any more questions, I know you could be anywhere. You decided to be here with me, and I appreciate that. So until next time.